Hey there, this is Lauren from Mama's Learning Corner. Appreciate you stopping by my channel today. Today I'm going to be talking about our 8th grade homeschool curriculum choices. I've already published a 6th grade video, so today will be 8th grade, what we're using for 8th grade in our homeschool. And then the videos left are 10th grade, 12th grade, and then my kindergartner. So I'll have those up just as soon as I can get a few quiet moments in this very loud house. I know that my videos are a little bit on the quieter side, and the lighting isn't perfect, you know, that's like a YouTube boo-boo, but I'm just this mama with an iPhone. So I'm sorry if it's quieter than it should be. One day I will have like a mic and it'll be professional, but today is not that day. So I hope you can hear this well, and stick around and let's see what's going on in 8th grade. If you're new here to my channel, I'm Lauren from Mama's Learning Corner. Appreciate you stopping by. I have 5 children and they're currently 12th grade, 10th grade, 8th grade, 6th grade, and a little kindergartner who is all boy and needs to be outside a majority of the day. So our days are structured around our homeschool life. I teach my children a classical education, so lots of the things that you see today will be very typical in a classical education homeschool. But if you have questions about any of it or about classical education, I'm certainly no expert. I was not given a classical education myself, so I just kind of learn along with my kids. But if you have questions about that, make sure you leave it in the comments below, and I'll be happy to help you or steer you in a direction if I can. Okay, let's see what we've got. I mentioned in the 6th grade video that the plan for the week is always on my planning page. And so this is my middle girl, and if it's not on the sheet, then it's not getting done. And you can already see right here, like this is the math row. Well, I haven't filled that in. Today's Tuesday. I'm recording this video on August 23rd, Tuesday, August 23rd of 2022. So thankfully she wrote it in herself, but typically if it's not on the page, then it's not getting done during the week. Each of my children is color-coded. My middle girl has always been purple. So I highlight her name at the top, the dates in red. Everything in purple is a quiz or test or some type of recitation that she'll get a grade for. Everything in yellow is a particular class with me. So this is the brain of the week. And essentially, if the brain of the week is not like keeping us, you know, moving down the line, then school just comes to a screeching halt. So I make sure that this is done usually on Sunday evening. I'm gonna have a video about how I do this. But keep in mind, I have 5 children and I need like the week to be on autopilot. And so this is the method that I use for myself to make sure that happens. So, all right, so let's take a look at the actual curriculum that we're using for this year. In our homeschool, we use a lot of Memoria Press. We use a lot of Rod and Staff, although I don't think my middle girl is doing any Rod and Staff this year. We also use quite a bit of BJU, which I also don't think she's using this year. So I tailor her curriculum a little bit in a different way for her. But we do use a lot of Memoria Press, and I go ahead and buy the curriculum guide each year. It's where all the plans are. So if you're using Memoria Press materials, they already have, it provides the pacing for the year. Now you can buy the plans individually for like $3, $5, or $8, depending upon what the subject is. But I go ahead and buy the whole curriculum manual because it makes the price of the package smaller. So if there's other pieces I need to buy, it discounts those others. So this is $30, as of this video, this is $30. And if it behooves me to purchase the manual, because when my 6th grader gets to 8th grader, I email them and say, I've already purchased this, can you send me the updated one? And they do. So you buy it once and then you can continue to get updates. Now, whether they will continue that, I don't know. I can't speak for them. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. Privately, I'm just a very happy homeschool mother. So as of right now, this is $30, and then you get the other items with it. So let's look at what we're doing this year. The only class that I'm outsourcing for her is composition. And she will be taking, and that's going to be through the Memoria Press Online Academy. And she took a combo class of fable and narrative last year. So their first and second step in their writing. She did great, thrived. I was shocked. But yeah, she did really well and was interested and engaged, and that has been a little bit of a struggle with this particular child, so I was thrilled. So she'll be taking Classical Composition 3, which is Crayon Maxim, in an online class this year. They always start with Fable and Narrative, or whatever the previous courses were, pardon that bad grammar, and then she'll pick right up with 3. I'm tickled for her. I think she's gonna love that. Next, so technically I'm not outsourcing Latin, but however, she is going to repeat most of third form Latin. We did third form last year, and I taught her that. Probably needed another run through third form Latin. So let me word it that way. Needed another run through in order for mastery. So she is actually using the classes from my older girl. My older girl took third form Latin online with Memorial Press Academy with Dr. Dre, who is all kinds of fabulous. So my middle girl is going to watch those videos. So far that's going well. She needs that extra repetition, the grammar questions, the recitation. She needs all of that again. So I know this fairly well, so I can help her when she has questions. So yeah, so I've still got my teacher's manual. She takes the tests and the quizzes with me every Friday. So it comes with, of course, the student guide, and then the student workbook, and then the teacher's guide, and a separate quiz and test book with the answers, of course. So even though that's not technically outsourced, the teaching is not on my plate. Would that be possible if I didn't know this level of Latin? I don't know. The grading of the quizzes and tests would be really hard if you aren't familiar. With the material, you know, like any topic. Next, so each of my older children from about 4th grade and up do their own separate Christian studies. And so for the 8th grade, she is working through Book of the Ancient World by Dorothy Mills. And so that comes with a student guide from Memorial Press. It comes with a teacher guide. I really like this. So while it's not Bible study per se, it is definitely how the Egyptians lived, how the Assyrians lived, how the Babylonians lived. And so of course that all adds to, you know, your overall Bible knowledge. I went through this with my older girl. I thought it was fabulous, and I learned a ton, and I was so thrilled that we had done it. What I also like is that it's a little bit light, not a lot of reading, 2 or 3 pages a week. And then of course the typical Memorial Press style, facts to know, vocabulary, and then questions to answer. I love Book of the Ancient World. So let's talk language arts a little bit. I already mentioned that my daughter will take composition with Memorial Press Online Academy. I'll leave the links to all of this in the description below so you can see what that looks like. But she needs a little bit more, she needs another year of spelling. And I mentioned in another video, I wasn't a huge fan of spelling workout, simply because I find the list words each week, they're written in cursive, and I find this cursive really hard to read. The writing is very light, and I just find it difficult to read. So I think I have a good alternative. She is going to use this year. She's an H. She is going to use this year, but I think I found a good solution to the list words. So I need another week or 2 to trial that, and if it goes well, then I'll definitely share it in a video. So stay tuned for that. For English grammar, it's a struggle. Despite Latin, which has tons of grammar, for whatever reason, this particular child is rather resistant to grammar. So this year we are going to try easy grammar, if you're familiar with it at all. So it's a lesson each day. The format is absolutely the same each and every day. It comes with a student workbook, but you don't have to purchase that if you want to copy the same worksheets that are in the teacher's guide. I didn't want to. I didn't have time to mess with it. So I bought the $10 student workbook. The format is the same every single day. Works on capitalization, works on punctuation. There's some type of teaching Then you practice that, and then there's combining of sentences. Simple. The teacher's guide has the answers. There's a test after every, well, they call it an assessment. There's an assessment after every 10 lessons, I believe. So far, that's gone okay. It remains to be seen how the rest of the year is going to go. But I'm hopeful that it'll go well. Literature. I love the 8th grade literature year for Memoria Press. This year starts out with Treasure Island, which is probably one of my top 3 favorite books ever. I love it. And so it starts out with Treasure Island. They're paced in a specific amount of weeks. I think this one's 8, but I'm not certain. But I just use the same pacing as the curriculum guide I showed earlier. There's a student guide, a teacher guide with answers, and of course the book. So she's going to read through Treasure Island, Tom Sawyer, which is excellent, The Wind in the Willows, which is this one, and they all come with the same 3 pieces. And Memoria Press also schedules Shakespeare's As You Like It. I don't think we're probably going to do that this year. I think I'm going to push it off to 9th grade. That's what I did with my oldest girl, and that worked really well. I think it just is going to be too much to add in this year with this particular child. And the other part of their literature is poetry and short stories. And this time period is from American literature. So 19th and 20th centuries. And it's just little short stories or poems that are famous American works. And I love the way this is structured. Typically you take a day to up to 3 to cover the poem or the story, and then you move on to something new. So I really like that aspect of it. Of course, all of the teaching guides are included in the teacher's manual, which is really helpful. And this one is structured a little bit differently than the regular literature guides. It's more like the upper school guides that they have. So it's kind of like a nice, easy step into their upper school. They would call them high school. I would call them high school literature guides. So yeah, I love this. I love this literature. With language arts, I also forgot to mention that my daughter still works on cursive practice. She started this one last year. This is Pen Time from Milestone Books, where I get my rod and staff materials from. She started this one last year in 7th grade, so she's going to finish it up, and then she's going to move on to the 8th grade. She loves cursive. It's how she starts her day, like gets her in school mode, so that's fine with me. So let's talk math and science just a little bit. I don't have anything from math to show you because she is doing Mr. D's math, which is, there's no book associated with that. It's literally printed papers from my printer that they assign, of course. And she watches the pre-recorded videos online. So she's going to be taking pre-algebra this year. We've never done anything with Mr. D's before. I don't have any experience with him, so I can't offer an opinion. So far, I feel like things are going well. She feels like it's easy so far. I don't know if that is because it's not me as her teacher. That's probably the reason. I don't know, but I feel like things are progressing well. I do find it a little bit difficult to see where they are in the sequence of lessons. There's not an easy way necessarily for parents to see without finagling around, but so far I've been pleased, and she has been pleased and is doing her work with a very happy attitude. So that makes me happy. So let's talk science. I mentioned in the 6th grade video that I'm able to combine my 6th and 8th grader this year for most of their science. That makes me so happy because it just is less planning for me. It's less reading for me. And I like the competition that it provides between the two of them. That's working out well. That's working out very well. So I like that I can combine them this year. So we are doing, excuse me, some of the John Tyner science books. And those are put out by Master Books. I've bought everything from Memoria Press because they offer a supplemental guide for students to write in. And then they have the teacher's guide for that, of course. So we are doing the World of Astronomy in the first trimester. I schedule these in trimesters. The pacing just works out the best for that. So the girls are doing World of Astronomy together first trimester. Second trimester, I'm going to be working on the World of Chemistry, and it has the same 3 pieces. And then lastly, we're going to be exploring the world of physics. I don't think I'm gonna have my 6th grader tag along in this one. I think she's gonna do Planet Earth. Same author. The physics has a lot of math in it, and it's just a harder book. So we'll see. She'll have enough math under her belt to be able to work on this towards the end of the year, which is the main reason I didn't schedule it towards the beginning. But this one's harder. I did it with my older girl, and it requires more effort for mom and teacher, mom and student. So yeah, I think that's going to work out really well. They come with quizzes after every 4th lesson, maybe. And you read 2 to 3 chapters a week. Usually it's just 2 though, with all of these books. That's the way the pacing works out really well. The last subject I have to share with you is classical studies, since we are a classical homeschool. This year, my daughter is going to work through the Dorothy Mills book, Book of the Ancient Greeks. Comes with a regular student guide and teacher book. This is, I want to say, it extends the whole first half of the year and maybe a little bit into the second. I can't quite remember when this ends, but it doesn't take up the whole year. And the reading seems like a lot, but the text on the page is not small. So I feel like it's a doable amount of reading. So she'll work through Book of the Ancient Greeks. We have class, I think, twice a week for that. And then the 2 biggies, which I love now that I've read them in adulthood. She'll read the Iliad and the Odyssey. So they come, this is my beat up and written in copy. The Iliad is first, and then the Odyssey will be read at the very end of the year. I can't quite remember how many weeks are assigned. I want to say there's 9 weeks each for these, but that could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. But I use the same pacing from the Memorial Press Curriculum Guide, although I do tweak this one a bit. I definitely don't assign all of the questions. We go over them in class, but I don't assign all of the questions. It's a lot of writing in Iliad and Odyssey, but part of that is because they're such dense books. I did mention in a different video about buying books. I can't remember what that was. Oh, if I buy curriculum used or new. These are books that I definitely buy a copy for my children to keep for their bookshelves, like their adulthood bookshelves. So she has her own copy of these. I definitely don't do that with every book, but the staples of Western civilization, I buy those books for them, so they'll have them forever and can pass them to their own children if they choose. I appreciate you watching today. I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. You just hit the little red subscribe button, and then I'll show up in your subscriptions feed whenever I publish a new video, or I have a new post in the community section. So I'd love it if you follow along with me there. If you have questions, remember to leave them in the comments. I'll have all the links below if you're interested in using these things in your own homeschool. And I'll see you next time with our 10th grade video. Okay, thanks.